I can't believe I'm telling all of this. One step ruined everything. It was a betrayal, but not with another man. It was something completely different. My name is Matt Pierce, subscribe to the channel, and let's begin. I truly thought Claire was the one, like fate had handed me a winning ticket, and for a while, I genuinely believed I had struck gold with Claire. At 37, I was climbing the ranks as an architect in Seattle, sketching sleek towers by day and building backyard forts for the kids on weekends. Claire was 29, a florist who could revive half-dead stems into vibrant bouquets. Her laugh lit up every corner of our cozy two-story in Kirkland, near Lake Washington. Our life felt like a warm blanket on a cold night. Our son Caleb spent afternoons swinging his bat in the driveway, dreaming of the Cubs. Sadie, 6, would sit for hours drawing flowers that looked just like her mom's. The lake breeze always carried the scent of fresh bread, rosemary, sometimes garlic, Claire's touch. At night, we'd drift to sleep to the hum of distant boats. 9 years of marriage, not flashy, no wild drama, but strong and steady. The kind of love you build a life on, until one cold November night, it all started to crack. I came home late from a meeting, boots crunching on leaves. Dropped my keys on the hall table, clink. The smell of rosemary focaccia hit me. Claire's signature, cooling on the counter upstairs. Caleb was calling out the ninth inning, foam bat thumping the wall. Sadie was coloring at the table, humming. Everything felt normal. I pulled off my coat, smiling as I stepped into the kitchen. Smells like winter in here, I said, expecting Claire's usual eye roll, but she didn't laugh. She sat at the table, wine glass half full, staring at it like it held the answers. Hair in a messy bun, face tight, she began, calm but serious. I've made a decision. I chuckled, loosening my tie. What? Finally tossing that ugly old vase. No smile. Just a quiet clink as she set her glass down and folded her hands. I'm going to be a surrogate. For Jenna. It felt like a train hit me. I stood frozen, one hand on my tie, the other midair. Wait, what? My voice cracked. I couldn't process it. Jenna, Claire's best friend since college. 34. Married to Derek, a big soft-hearted mechanic. Years of failed IVF, late-night tears over coffee, I'd heard it all. I sympathized. But I never imagined this. You're joking, right? She looked me dead in the eye. Come. Like she'd rehearsed this moment. I'm not. Jenna can't carry a baby. Doctors say I'm a perfect match, same build, blood type. I already signed with a clinic. It's her embryo. I'm just the carrier. You signed up already. I yanked off my tie and tossed it on a chair, stepping toward her. When were you planning to tell me? When you're 5 months along, waddling through the living room with Derek's kid inside you. I kept my voice low. The kids were upstairs, but the anger was clear. I'm telling you now, she said, calm but firm. I knew you'd react like this, so I got everything lined up first. It's my body, Pierce. My choice. My decision. I repeated, choking on the words. I ran a hand through my hair, trying to stay calm. Claire, we're married. This isn't just about your body, it's our life. You're saying you'll carry another man's baby, in our home, and I get no say. She crossed her arms, ready for the storm. It's Jenna's baby too. Their embryo. I'm doing this for her, she's like family. You don't know what it's like to see someone you love break down again and again. I had to help. I leaned against the counter, gripping it until my knuckles went white. So you kept this from me. For how long? Weeks. Months. And now I'm the last to know. That's not marriage, Claire. That's a sucker punch. Her eyes flared with defiance. Sucker punch. I'm helping my best friend become a mom. You're acting like I cheated. I hoped for your support, but I don't need your permission to do what's right. The silence was thick. Heavy with everything we weren't saying. I'd always trusted Claire, her judgment, her heart. But this felt like watching the foundation of our life crumble while she just stood there, oblivious. Support you. I said, voice low. You want me to cheer while you carry Derek's kid in our home? What do I tell Caleb and Sadie? You think they won't notice? She stood, her chair scraping the floor. Tell them Aunt Jenna needed help, she said. And I'm strong enough to give it. Stop turning this into some soap opera. She grabbed her wine and brushed past me. But I caught it, a flicker of doubt in her eyes. There, then gone, soap opera. I followed, my voice rising. You rewrote our entire life and I'm the dramatic one. Did Derek know before I did? She spun, wine sloshing. Yes, Derek knew. He's the father. Of course he knew. We've been working this out for a while. You're my husband, Pierce, not my boss. That one hit hard. I stepped back, chest tight, anger and heartbreak brewing. So you and Derek figured this out behind closed doors, and I'm just the guy who pays the mortgage. Great. I turned away, staring out at the dark lake, wind churning the surface. This isn't over, Claire. You lit a fuse, and it's burning now. She exhaled, softer this time. Less defiant. Almost pleading. I'm doing this, she said. With or without you. I said nothing. I could still hear Caleb's baseball commentary drifting from upstairs. Strike 3, he yelled, full of excitement, unaware of the wreckage unraveling below. Meanwhile, my head spun. How did we go from laughing over focaccia to full-blown disaster in under 10 minutes? One thing was clear, Claire had drawn a line in the sand. And I didn't know if I could ever cross it. Outside, the wind howled through the trees like it knew something we didn't. Deep down, I felt it. This was just the beginning of the storm that would tear everything apart. The next morning, I woke to Lake Washington pounding the shore, every wave echoing the turmoil inside me. I barely slept. Claire's words kept looping in my head. It's my body. My call. She'd spent the night in the guest room. That queen bed felt twice as cold without her. Downstairs, Caleb was scarfing cereal, Sadie drawing daisies on a napkin, both clueless their parents' world had just split open. I forced a smile and ruffled Caleb's hair. Big game today, slugger. He grinned, milk dripping down his chin. Gonna hit a homer. Sadie piped up in her little voice. Can I cheer? Course you can, I said, throat tight. Everything looked normal, but it all felt fake, like I was acting in a life that wasn't mine. After dropping them at school, I sat in the Jeep, engine idling, staring at the gray lake under a heavy sky. My stomach churned. How long had she been hiding this? I opened our joint banking app, something I rarely checked. Claire handled bills, groceries, all that. I trusted her, but the balance hit me like a gut punch. 20,000. Gone, withdrawn 3 weeks ago, labeled, medical expenses. My hands clenched around the phone. That was our emergency fund. For a busted furnace, college, Sadie's future. She used it, for Jenna. For their dream. I drove home, heart pounding. Claire was in the kitchen, sipping coffee, her laptop open to some pastel fertility clinic site full of smiling pregnant women. Morning, she muttered without looking up. No small talk. I dropped my phone on the table. The banking screen glared like an accusation. 20 grand, Claire? She glanced at it, then calmly returned to her mug like I'd asked about the weather. It's for Jenna's future. We'll sort it out. Sort it out. My voice cracked, louder than I meant. She flinched. That's our kids' money. You didn't just go behind my back, you stole from us. She slammed her mug down, coffee splashing. Stole. Don't be dramatic. It's a joint account. I needed it for the clinic, consults, hormones. Jenna and Derek will pay us back. Pay us back. I laughed, bitter. Derek fixes old Buicks. Jenna works double shifts at a cafe. They're drowning in IVF debt. You think they've got 20 grand lying around? She stood, arms crossed, cheeks red. They'll figure it out. This is about friendship. You've never watched someone you love fall apart over a dream. That hit, but I fired back. Don't pull that. You didn't ask me because you knew I'd say no. And yeah, I would've. You blew our savings without a word. She held her ground. I didn't ask because you'd make it a screaming match. My first appointment's tomorrow. Hormones start next week. It's happening. I felt sick. I stormed into my office and slammed the door. Outside, the lake churned like the chaos inside me, dark and angry. I needed proof. Something to show her how insane this was. I rifled through our desk, finally finding a manila folder under old tax forms, surrogacy plan, receipts. Contract. A payment form. And there it was, my name, signed, except, it wasn't my handwriting. The M looped weird. The slant was off. She forged it. I marched into the kitchen, folder in hand, my voice low and sharp, "You forged my signature." Claire froze mid-sip. I don't. I cut her off, dropping the folder like a gavel. "You faked it to unlock the funds." "That's fraud, Claire. You didn't just lie, you broke the law." She went pale, then snapped back, "I had to. The clinic needed both signatures. I didn't think I'd care." I stepped toward her. My own wife lying to my face. "You ran this in secret for months, with Jenna, Derek, the clinic, while I thought we were fine." She looked away, swallowing hard. It wasn't scheming. Jenna was sobbing. This was her last shot. I couldn't say no. "You could have told me," I shot back. Said, "Hey, let's talk." Instead, you picked them over us. Before she could answer, the doorbell rang. She brushed past me, and my gut twisted when I saw who it was, Jenna and Derek. Jenna looked anxious in yoga pants, clutching a tote bag. Derek stood awkwardly beside her, eyes low. "Hey, he said. Brought some stuff for Claire. Vitamins, blanket, to get started." Jenna forced a tight smile. "She's starting soon, so, get out." My voice was cold. They blinked. "You don't just stroll in like this is your clubhouse. Take your stuff and go." "Pierce, stop it," Claire hissed. "They're my family." "Not mine," I said flatly. "Not when they're draining us and you're the one holding the knife." Jenna's eyes welled up. "We're not trying to hurt you. This is for my baby." "Then pay for it yourself," I snapped. "Not with my kid's future." Derek tugged her sleeve. "Let's go. This is bad." They left without another word. The door clicked shut. Claire spun around, furious. "You're a jerk. They're desperate, and you just humiliated them." "No, Claire," I said, voice calm despite the storm inside. "You're desperate to play hero, and you're doing it at our expense. You have no idea what you've started." I turned and walked out, leaving her there, seething. The lake roared outside, but the real storm was here, inside these walls. Claire made the first cut. And I wasn't playing nice anymore. The days that followed. A silent war. Cold shoulders. Slammed doors. Tension so thick you could choke on it. Claire and I had become ghosts in our own house. We barely spoke, unless Caleb needed a ride or Sadie asked for a bedtime story. Outside, Lake Washington's wind rattled the windows like it was trying to shake the truth loose. Inside, silence swallowed everything. I couldn't look at Claire without seeing that forged signature, my name, twisted inside her lie. She'd crossed a line I wasn't sure I could ever come back from, and in the quiet, that hurt turned into a slow, simmering fury. By Friday night, I couldn't take it anymore. I stayed in my Jeep after work, parked near the lake. Engine off. Rain streaked down the windshield. I just needed space, air that didn't taste like resentment. Then my phone buzzed. A text from Derek, Golden Gardens Park. 7 p.m., need to talk. I stared at it. Derek was the last guy I wanted to see. But something, maybe desperation, made me type back, "Fine." The beach was empty. Mist hung low, and the lighthouse cast a pale glow through the haze. Derek stood near the shore, hunched in a too-big jacket, hands jammed in his pockets. He spotted me and nodded. Didn't look like the confident grease monkey I knew. More like someone who'd already lost. "Thanks for coming," he said, voice rough. "I know you probably want to knock my teeth in." "Pretty much," I said, arms crossed. The cold had settled in. "So what is this? A speech about the miracle of surrogacy?" Derek shook his head fast, glancing around like Jenna might pop out of the fog. "No, man. I'm not okay with any of this either. Jenna's obsessed. Says it's her last shot. But I didn't sign up to screw you or blow up your marriage. They planned this behind my back, too." My eyebrows shot up. "You didn't know about the money?" "Not a clue." "Not until last week," he said, kicking wet sand. "Jenna came clean. Said Claire handled it. Said you'd give in eventually. I told her it was nuts. She lost it. Told me if I didn't back her, she was done with me. So yeah, I'm stuck." I studied him, looking for a lie. But his eyes were bloodshot. His shoulders sagged. He looked wrecked. "Why tell me now?" I asked. "Because it's spinning out. Claire starts hormone shots Monday. After that, it's done. I've got proof, texts between Jenna and Claire. Jenna told her to take the money from your joint account. I'll send them if you want. My heart pounded. That kind of proof could flip the whole thing, show Claire's kindness for what it really was. Betrayal. Send them, I said. But what's your angle? Derek exhaled, fogging the air. I want out. If Jenna has this baby, I'm stuck. If she doesn't, she'll still blame me. Either way, I lose. Maybe you can stop it, for both of us. I nodded slowly. Then I guess we're on the same team. Derek didn't wait. Pulled out his phone. Check your messages. My phone pinged. Screenshots. Jenna, just take it from the joint account. He won't notice. Claire, yeah. I'll swing it. My blood ran hot. But I kept calm. This was dynamite. That night, I got home late. The house was dark except for a light under the guest room door. Claire was probably curled up, scrolling surrogacy blogs like nothing had happened. I didn't knock. Went straight to my office. I printed every screenshot, matched them with bank records, circled dates. Built a timeline. 6 months of lies, topped with a $20,000 betrayal. I picked up the phone and called Miles, a lawyer with a killer instinct and a shark's grin. This is nuclear, he said. If this goes to court, you'll walk with the house, the kids, everything. She's done. Monday morning, I was pouring coffee when Claire walked in, pale and jittery. I'm heading to the clinic, she said, grabbing her keys. First shots today. I set my mug down. I know about the texts, Claire. She froze. You and Jenna, months of scheming. The money. My forged signature. I've got it all. Her eyes went wide, then narrowed. You're bluffing. Try me. I held up my phone. Miles is on it. This isn't just about you anymore. It's about our family. And you're not doing this. She laughed, cold and sharp. You really think you can stop me? I filed for divorce Friday night, after you stormed out. My lawyer says I've got a case, emotional distress, unsupportive spouse. I'm taking the kids. And half of everything. The room spun. I gripped the counter, rage and disbelief crashing over me. You're divorcing me. I said. After you lied. After you stole from us, ambushed me, and I'm the villain. You left me no choice, she snapped. You made this a war. Fine. I'll win it. She grabbed her bag and stormed out. The door slammed behind her. I stood in the quiet. The only sound, the coffee maker dripping. She'd flipped the script, made me the bad guy, but she didn't know I had Derek. And the receipts. I called Miles. She filed first. Can we strike back? Hell yes, he said. And with what you've got? We'll bury her. I hung up, staring out at the lake. The waves churned like my thoughts, wild, restless. Claire had made her move, but I was holding a loaded hand. This fight. Just beginning. The weeks after were a blur, all strategy and survival. Claire moved into Jenna's cramped place in White Center, saying our home was hostile. I kept Caleb and Sadie with me. Baseball in the driveway. Sadie's flower drawings at the table. Those moments became our lifeline. Meanwhile, Miles went full throttle. We collected everything, forged signature, withdrawals, Derek's messages. Claire threw the first punch. But now I was swinging back, with the truth. Legally, not for revenge. For what was right. The hearing came on a foggy Tuesday in mid-January. The downtown courthouse loomed, cold, gray, swallowed in mist. Inside, the air buzzed with tension. I sat at one table. Miles beside me, flipping pages like he was sharpening blades. Across from us, Claire sat stiff and silent beside her lawyer, some slick guy in a too-tight tie. She looked drained but defiant, face set like stone. Jenna and Derek were in the gallery. Jenna's eyes were swollen, probably cried all night. Derek stared at my boots, silent. Caleb and Sadie were staying with my sister, far from the chaos, safe from the courtroom storm about to hit. Judge Ramirez entered like she owned the place. Sharp jaw, sharper eyes, no time for games. Her gavel hit the desk like a gunshot. Claire's lawyer went first, laying it on thick. Claimed Claire acted out of compassion, trying to help a friend, only to face emotional neglect from me, her cold, controlling husband. He pointed at me, saying she had no choice but to file for divorce, to protect the kids from a hostile home. Claire sniffled on cue. dabbing her eyes like she was auditioning for a soap. I clenched my fists under the table, jaw tight. She was nailing the performance, but I knew the real script behind it. Then Miles stood. Calm, razor-sharp, Your Honor, he said, voice steady, this isn't about compassion. It's about deception. He laid it all out, 6 months of secret planning, $20,000 gone, a forged consent form. He handed over the text messages, Jenna's, just take it, Claire's, I'll swing it. The room shifted. My client begged her to stop, Miles said. She ignored him. She broke trust. And the law. Judge Ramirez adjusted her glasses, leaned in, unreadable. Claire's lawyer jumped in, brushing it off. This is a marital disagreement. Mrs. Pierce had the right to use joint funds for family needs. Forgery isn't a family matter, Miles snapped. It's a felony. Mr. Pierce didn't consent, not verbally, not financially. Then he played the voicemail I'd saved, Claire's voice, cold and final, I'm doing this with or without you. Silence followed. Heavy. Then Derek took the stand, Miles's ace. He looked uneasy under the weight of the room, especially Jenna's glare. I didn't want this, he said, voice low. Claire and Jenna planned it without me. I told them it was wrong. Jenna said she'd leave if I didn't back her. That's why I gave the texts. I couldn't live with the lie. Jenna gasped, whispering furiously to Claire. Claire just shook her head, jaw clenched. Judge Ramirez raised an eyebrow. So, Mr. Collins, your wife and Mrs. Pierce acted alone. Yes, ma'am, Derek said. I was just as blindsided as I. Claire's lawyer objected, hearsay, but Ramirez waved it off, it speaks to intent. I'll allow it. She turned to Claire, Mrs. Pierce, did you forge your husband's signature? Claire hesitated, then straightened, I had to. The clinic required both. I knew he'd say no. It was for Jenna. Ramirez's gaze hardened, that's not a justification. That's a confession. She reviewed the evidence, then set it down, Mrs. Pierce's actions show a deliberate breach of trust and a legal violation. The surrogacy was a unilateral decision, funded by deception. She paused, Mr. Pierce will not be held financially responsible for a child that isn't his. He is granted primary custody. Mrs. Pierce will have supervised visitation pending review. Claire gasped, spousal support is denied due to financial misconduct. Mrs. Pierce will repay $20,000, plus a $2,500 penalty for forgery. Claire's face crumpled. Her lawyer sank low in his chair. Jenna jumped up, trembling, this is unfair. She did it for me. Judge Ramirez didn't flinch. Sit down or leave. Derek said nothing. Just stared at the floor like it had answers. I let out a breath I'd been holding for months. Not victory, just justice. Cold, clean, overdue. Outside, the fog still clung to the streets like a secret. Claire found me on the steps. Her voice was small. How could you do this? I'm still there, Mom. I didn't raise my voice, you stopped being my partner the day you lied. You chose Jenna over us. That was your call. Now live with it. Jenna stormed up, finger in my face, you ruined everything. She did it for me. Then you should have paid for it, I said. Not my family. I turned to Derek nearby, thanks. That took guts. He shrugged, had to do something right. Jenna's filing against me next. Guess we're both free. He walked into the mist, shoulders squared for whatever came next. I headed for my Jeep, each step lighter. Claire had struck first. But I landed the final blow, fair, legal, and unflinching. I had the kids. The house. And the truth, revenge doesn't come with fireworks. It settles slowly, solid and clean, and finally, it was quiet. The fog began to lift, and through it, I saw the sun break over Lake Washington, pale gold cutting through gray. Spring had begun creeping back into Kirkland, brushing color over winter's bruises. Inside the house, once a battleground, things started to bloom again. Caleb's trophies lined the mantel. The kitchen echoed with his baseball stats. Sadie's flower drawings covered the fridge, little bursts of crayon joy. Claire was gone, her absence left a hole, sure. But I filled it with something better, calm, consistency, love without chaos. I coached Caleb's team. Hosted pizza nights. Rebuilt our rhythm, one day at a time. For the first time in forever, I could breathe without drowning. Claire never came back. After the ruling, she rented a rundown one-bedroom in White Center, no lake, no view, just train tracks and noise. Paying back $22,500 hit her hard. Freelance work dried up. She barely scraped by. Her visits started in February, one Saturday a month, supervised, at a community center. I'd wait in the Jeep, watching her hug the kids. Her smile was tight. Their hugs, polite but stiff. One day, buckling Sadie in, she looked up at me. "Why's Mom so quiet?" I kept my answer simple. "Sometimes people make choices that are hard, and it changes things," I told Sadie, buckling her in. "But you, me, and Caleb, we're a team." She nodded, trusting completely. That kind of faith. It kept me grounded when nothing else could. After the hearing, Jenna and Derek's marriage fell apart like wet cardboard. Didn't take long. Derek filed for divorce, blaming the surrogacy mess as the last straw. I heard through the grapevine, mutual friends, old neighbors. Jenna got custody of the baby, a boy named Leo. Born early. Fragile. But hanging in there. Claire had a rough delivery. Almost didn't make it. I heard Leo was in the NICU for weeks, and the bills stacked up fast. Jenna's barista pay wasn't enough. She was drowning. Derek packed up, took a mechanic job in Spokane, and cut ties clean. He sent me one last text, "Should have walked away sooner." I never wrote back. He'd done his part. The fallout? Not mine to clean up. Claire's selfless act ended up unraveling her life, thread by thread. She emailed me one rainy April night. No spin. Just raw pain. I never thought it would end like this. Jenna barely speaks to me. Leo's here, but it's all a mess. I miss the kids. I miss us. I read it. Thumb hovered. Then I archived it. No reply. She rolled the dice. Now she lived with the result. Later came another message, hints of postpartum depression. Losing clients. Her floral business tanking after the court case. I sent one reply, confirming the next visit with the kids, nothing more. Sometimes I felt a flicker of sympathy. But the trench between us. She dug it. One Sunday, I was at a cafe with my sister Erin. "You ever feel bad for her?" she asked, stirring cream into her mug. "I mean, she's falling apart." I stared into my latte. I did. At first. But she forged my name. Emptied our savings. Sued me. She didn't care about us then. Why should I now? Erin nodded. Fair. Then gave me a look. "You've gotten tougher." "Maybe," I said. "But I've got Caleb and Sadie. That's what matters." By summer, life found rhythm again. I got promoted to senior architect, better pay, more security. Meant real savings this time for the kids. Caleb hit a game-winning homer one night in June. Team went nuts. Sadie won a school art contest. Her drawing stayed on the hallway wall for weeks. Small wins. But they meant everything. The house felt like ours again. No ghosts lingering in corners. Claire's visits thinned out. She skipped one in June, sent a vague, work stuff text that night. Caleb was tossing a baseball in the yard. Looked up at me and asked, "Does Mom still love us?" I knelt down, met his eyes. In her way, "Yeah," I said. "But sometimes grown-ups get lost in their own mess. Doesn't mean you're not loved. Just means they're hurting." He nodded. Then hugged me. I held him tight. In that moment, I made myself a promise, my kids would never feel like second choice. Ever more gossip rolled in. Jenna sold her car to pay bills. Claire crashed on her couch, jobless, burnt out. The people who once praised her sacrifice now whispered behind her back. One coworker muttered in the break room, "She thought she'd be a saint. Look at her now." I didn't smirk. Didn't say a word, but I think that I would like to forgive her.